Welcome to Wrestling Talk, and today I wanted to talk about how WWE is failing the new Bloodline, because it seems it's obvious they've been failing, and let me explain my opinion. First, we want to start off with Solo is always, they're trying to make Solo look to be the tribal chief. It's not working. One, because he doesn't have a title on him, and he keeps losing these big major matches that he should be winning. He's supposed to be like the big final boss for Roman Reigns. He already beat him twice, and Solo only beat him once. Just like Cody Rhodes, Solo has lost to Cody Rhodes every time they had a match, except one time, and that's when Kevin Owens and Randy Orton were with him. Solo only wins when it's like a 2-on-2. He never wins when it matters. You could even have made him beat LA Knight for the United States Championship and let him beat Lex Luthor's longest reigning United States Championship reign. But no. He's supposed to be the head of the table. All I see him as is the head of the toilet, because that's all he's shown us. And he has boring matches. His matches don't feel special and different in any way. You know it's a Solo match because you fall asleep during it. But the problem is, you're making him lose these big important matches to Roman Reigns when you're supposed to make this guy look like a real tough guy. If you can't beat Roman Reigns, and when it matters, he lost in War Games. He lost to him and Cody. He lost to him and Cody Rhodes. And then, listen to this. The only time he beat them is when the Usos were with him. He needed the Usos and Roman Reigns to be together to beat Roman Reigns. You want me to tell you what? It's crazy that this man is supposed to be the tribal chief, doesn't hold any titles, just has the Ula Fala, which means nothing. It says you're the leader, but are you really the leader when you don't... Shouldn't Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa be the leader? At least they held a championship. You get it? For a long time. You want me to tell you what? Let's go to Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. They're supposed to be these Usos. They're not the Usos, they're the USOs. They hold the championship for 80 days, and they face the same 3 teams every week. And you want me to tell you what's outrageous? These guys are supposed to be super strong, and they lost to guys who already had a match. If you lost your titles to someone who had a grueling match, you're not that tough. And they didn't even wrestle once that night, and they still lost. I don't care if it was Jey Uso who cost them that. If you goof up, if you fumble one of the biggest opportunities of your life, it's your fault. They fumbled the bag on Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, and these guys are supposed to be like the next Usos, like the Usos. These guys are supposed to be like the tag team for the Bloodline, and all they done is lost their championship after 84 days, defended it against the 3 or 4 or 5 teams, and then never did anything again, even though I know SmackDown has a bigger tag team division, or they at least should. How many times could you see Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa face the Street Profits and any other bloody opponent they faced before? It gets tiring. If I see the DIY versus the Motor City Machine Gun 12 times. You are failing your tag team divisions. You failed the Tongans. Jacob Fatu is the only one who I can say with perfect T that he hasn't held a championship yet, and that is criminal. He's the only one worth anything in the Bloodline. When Jacob Fatu is the most important thing in the Bloodline compared to the actual leader, that's sad. You're supposed to be a leader of this big group, and you can't even win one championship. I bet Jacob Fatu could win a title quicker than Solo could. It's bad when your tribal chief, the guy who's supposed to be head of the table, loses all the time. That's what made Roman Reigns' Bloodline special, because he barely lost. Sami Zayn didn't win any championships under the Bloodline, but at least he was there to make it more funny and interesting. He had a part to play. Solo was there just to be the fall guy like he is now, essentially. And everyone had their part. The Usos were the longest reigning tag team champions for the most part. Everyone had their part. But when everyone's the fail guy except for Jacob Fatu, and then I forgot to mention, you had Roman Reigns, who has one of the longest championship reigns of all time. That's a lot to live up to. And Jacob Fatu is the only one worth anything in the whole Bloodline. And that's just sad. It's like Solo could have definitely have had a better run as the Tribal Chief if you just gave him the title, let him beat LA Knight, or because Roman Reigns had the title for a very long time, and when he came and appeared, it felt special. The Bloodline was only special because when Roman Reigns appeared with the Bloodline for storytelling, it was really cool and stuff. It was like something very exciting to see. When you see Solo every week losing or getting cost a match by the Bloodline, or the other Bloodline, he's gonna have a fourth match with Roman. If you can't beat him here, simply, if this goes on to WrestleMania, no one's gonna be interested. After Cody Rhodes beat the Story, that should have been it. Goodbye.